Hey guys, we are the Backyard Ninja Kids, and last year, 2017, we went to an American Ninja Warrior recording live in Kansas City to watch the city qualifiers and the city finals. And it was an amazing experience. But there were a few times that we actually felt lost. We didn't know where to go. We didn't know what time we had to be places. So I'm going to help try to answer some of those questions for you, because when we go this year, we're going to feel a lot more comfortable than we did last year. So I'm going to break this down into a couple different sections. First, like what to do like right now to get started, the prep work, right? And then two, when you first get there, what to kind of expect and experience. And then once you get on set, what is it like? What do you need to do? Let's get started. So first things first, before anything else, you need to go get your ticket. I have a link down below, but you'll want to head over to oncameraaudiences.com and either select your time and city and say either get tickets or get on the wait list. Go ahead and fill out that form, hit submit, and you'll be getting an email with more information from there. Also, when you're choosing a place to stay, you're going to want to stay fairly close. When we were in Kansas City, we actually stayed at my friend's house that was a half hour away. Now, I chose to do that because it was really cheap, but we paid the price because if we wanted to spend any time at American Ninja Warrior and see the ninjas and be a part of that, which I'll get into, you had to like drive a half hour away. And I didn't want to drive a half hour there, drive a half hour back, drive a half hour there. So I just said, okay, we're leaving at this time and we're going to be there all day. Okay, so we didn't really have a home base, you could say. So if you have younger kids especially, I would highly recommend getting as close as possible. If you're within walking distance, that'd be amazing. If you're new to our channel, we do all kinds of things ninja related, especially with kids and fitness. So if that sounds interesting to you, you may want to consider subscribing. Just remember, this is a TV show, so when you go pack, here's a few things you need to know. Number one, they are not going to let you have any logos on your shirt. Backyard Ninja Kids, hashtag Ninja Kids, that's okay. If it's a Nike or Under Armour or anything like that, they're not going to want a big giant logo in the stands. Even at times when the ninjas are running, you'll see a little piece of tape over logos. That's what that's doing. That's covering that up. Also, speaking of clothes, you're going to want to dress in layers because recording starts at like 8 p.m. at night, usually when the sun goes down. And usually recording gets over between 4 and 6 a.m. Okay, so you're out there all night and it's cold. You know, just dress in layers and you'll be fine. Plan accordingly. Don't forget snacks, okay, because I'll get to this, but you're going to be there a long time and a long time waiting. So especially with kids, you're going to want some food. Something you can kind of keep discreet, maybe in your coat pockets or bag, small backpack. Small backpack's kind of okay for stage. I had a bigger backpack. They let me take it still, but small backpack's totally fine. You'll definitely want to bring your own water. They might hand out some Palm Wonderful, but don't count on it. Make sure that you can stay hydrated. Last thing I want to say about packing is make sure you bring a battery pack for your phone. Because again, you're going to be there all day and night. You're probably going to be taking a lot of pictures with ninjas, which I'll get to. And you're going to run out of battery on your phone. So you're going to want to make sure you are able to charge that phone. Because I would not count on having access to a power plug. Signage. You can actually make your own signs, and that's pretty cool, but just make sure it's not this massive sign. Again, this is a TV show with production. They're not going to want these massive signs in the bleachers. They do like signs. They like sheet t-shirts. They like you being able to cheer on your favorite ninja. They're all about that. But if you're going to have a big sign blocking stuff or causing almost distraction on TV, they're obviously not going to want that. In fact, you do have to get your signs approved by production team before you can take them in. Sometimes people ask, what about bringing kids? Kids are totally fine, especially if they're family. Like, absolutely, how cool is that? Especially for TV, for a dad to grab his daughter. You know, that's like gold for them. So absolutely, bring the kids, bring the family members, cheer on your favorite ninja. Obviously, you're going to be sitting in some bleachers maybe, or standing, so don't expect to have the stroller or whatever you bring right next to you all the time. But when you're waiting in line, absolutely. I would say try to get there early because there's going to be ninjas around. And if you want pictures with your favorite ninjas, this is a prime time because there's not a ton of people there. They're just pretty mellow. They're trying to relax before they have to run that night. My experience and everyone's experience from what I've heard, again, this is an awesome ninja community. They're willing to take pictures. Just really cool experience, especially if you have kids. One of the first people we met happened to be Drew Dreschel, and and my kids were in awe. I literally picked their chin up from the ground and said, let's go over and ask him for his autograph. And Drew was super cool. He was kind of in a rush, but he still made sure to make time for us. And so they test the course that afternoon to make sure, some of this stuff is actually doable, or maybe the height adjustments for the shorter people, right? So if you're 5 foot, maybe it's really difficult to reach this certain obstacle, or maybe if you're 6'7", you're going to hit your head on something and they need to adjust it just a little bit, right? So they just need to make sure they're taking safety precautions while also making it challenging. In Kansas City, they were at this big hill that overlooked the whole Union Station, and the ninjas were able to just kind of hang out and talk. Also, you're going to be there plenty of time in advance, and last year they actually set up a merch tent for the first time. It's only going to get better, but they had a vast selection of bags and shirts and coats and hats and anything you wanted Ninja Warrior. That was one way we were able to kill some time. I would get there early as possible because it's like an experience to just kind of see people around. We got to meet all kinds of ninjas. Tyler Yamauchi and Rue and Drew Drushel, Jake Murray, Nikki from American Ninja Warrior Nation, Karen Sabo, who we've later interviewed. We just got to meet a bunch of ninjas, which is super cool. Okay, so here comes the most boring part of the whole thing. You gotta just take a deep breath because you gotta put on your patience pants. So when you're waiting in line, you're literally just waiting and waiting and waiting, and there's a family line and there's a registration line, and then eventually you get into the real line to get into the line that gets you into it. So we'll kind of go through those. A lot of those people that are working are local people, so when you ask them questions outside of their realm, they have no clue. Okay, so just be patient. Everyone there is just trying to help and keep it all going. In fact, I have a hilarious story. We walked out of the Union Station. We were just kind of staying by the doors. There's a little bit of a line forming over here, and I'm kind of just standing there trying to figure out where to go, and there's a lady behind me, and I could overhear her and her husband kind of talking, and he said, well, what are we doing? And she said, well, we're waiting in line. And he goes, well, what line is this? And she said, I don't know, but it's a line. That's literally how it feels sometimes. I'm sure every year it just gets better and better of an experience, and every city might be a little different. So when you first get there, you want to register. You have to sign off and sign for your kids to make sure that you're not going to share any of this information, right? So this is a TV show that airs later. It's not live. Sorry to spoil fun if you didn't know that it's not live. There's a line for just general public tickets of if you just kind of showed up, you're in the area, maybe you could still get in. So there's kind of a general public line. Then we kind of got into the friend and family line. When your ninja's coming up in the order, then they will ask, who's here for Tyler Smith? And, we kind of raised our hands and said, okay, well, he's coming up. He's 15 people away, so you may want to start getting in this line now. And then they kind of line up all the ninjas, fam club, if you will, to make sure that they're going to be in the seats when that ninja runs. It actually seems like it's super locked down, and it almost seems super strict, and then you just kind of get up there and they're like, oh yeah, hey, you got that wristband? Yeah, cool, you're in. It was seriously so cool just being able to walk onto the set, and then you kind of realize actually that you're not quite there yet. So what they do is they kind of put you in the later stages. So they actually record. One night they'll record the city qualifiers, and then the next night they record the city finals. My Garmin thought I met my steps goal. I guess I need to stop moving my arms. So the city finals is actually several obstacles longer, so then they actually put you in the waiting bin of those bleachers for those extra obstacles the second night, right? So you're waiting almost in there. You're in there, but not quite to the section that the ninjas are running on. And that's just kind of the holding pen, so then they can shift you again into the real seats. But it's still pretty cool. You get to see the big screen. You can kind of watch some of the ninjas coming down. They're just not right in front of you yet. But it's coming, and it's awesome. They do have some TVs in front of you, and it's so cool because they fall in water, right? So the TVs are covered in plastic. What about taking pictures when you're in there? Well, so we've got tons of mixed answers on this, and every year's different, so make sure you read that contract, right? Make sure you actually read it. Basically, when I was able to actually talk to production people, not just, right, the local people who are working that night, basically what the answer I got was, since it's a TV show with the crowd, right, they don't want everyone to just have a phone up, right? You know what I'm talking about. You go to a concert or something and everyone just has their phone up and no one can see, and they don't want that from a TV set, obviously. So, but we did hear that it's okay to maybe record your top ninja. You're part of the set, you're part of the action. You're supposed to be engaged, not just record someone being engaged. It is kind of fun when you're on set because they'll actually take a break, between ninjas and reset the course, and Akbar and Matt will come out and they'll do like a social media post, and you'll kind of see them record stuff. They'll actually come down during the breaks and shake some hands, and maybe they'll go to their trailer if it's a longer break to, kind of get rested and shake it out, because they're talking all night, so they got a long night ahead of them too. What if you have to go potty? I would expect porta potties. Depending on where you are, there might actually be real bathrooms, but I would expect some porta potties in there. So you're covered if you have to go. So then it gets exciting because your ninja's about to come up. Oh my gosh! You kind of get pushed forward, and there's your ninja. And for Tyler, his mom got to come out and be with him. He requested his mom, and I think his wife and daughter at the same time. They just like cheer him on the sideline, right? They get to pick a few people, and we weren't sitting in the bleachers. We were actually along the fence line cheering him on. And all the ninjas around us, again, they made sure that we got pushed up. Oh yeah, this is your ninja. Like, get up there. You need to be near the front. So it was absolutely incredible as they kind of announced Tyler's name and get to see him go through the course and obstacles. Then once your ninja's kind of done, they just keep resetting the course, right? And more ninjas run and more ninjas run. And once you're in there, once you're in the seats and in the bleachers, and you can kind of walk behind the bleachers, and that's kind of where some of the ninjas hang out. They have a warm-up pen, and you can kind of walk up to that area and meet some of the ninjas. Another quick funny story, Jason kind of saw Grant McCarty, and he asked for Grant's autograph, and Ben was kind of there, and it was getting late. It was really late for the boys, but Grant kind of said, "Hey buddy, how about you? Do you want my autograph?" And Ben just said, Nah, I'm okay." Sorry, Grant, if you're watching this, which, yeah, it'd be probably not, but hey, if you're watching this, sorry about that. He was tired. Now it's about midnight. The boys are already 4 hours past their bedtime, and maybe time zone changes. Got to factor that in. So it was starting to feel pretty late for the kids. One thing to note is they do actually kind of take a lunch break around 12:30, 1 o'clock, depending on when the ninjas run and all that. So get this, as we're trying to leave, right, it's 1 o'clock, and this kind of answers some of the questions about parking, but they have basically Ninja Warrior parking, giant parking garage open, right? So as you pulled in, you took a ticket, but then the gates were just open later that night. So I'm literally going up and I'm trying to figure out, how do I get this thing paid for free? And I think someone told me, there'll be someone there, they'll let you out. Well, there wasn't anyone there. It was 1 a.m. And I just walked up and I tried to keep paying, and it was like it wasn't taking my credit card. So finally I found some enough change and just threw it in the machine, and kind of said paid or whatever, and I I looked forward and the door arm was already up. I didn't need to pay. I just was so out of it. But one thing I want to touch on was there's actually a rainstorm there that second night, so they actually had to cancel production. First they delayed. They do a good job of making sure there's at least a plan, right, in place for bad weather. So they did a great job. Everyone was just in the Union Station, which worked out perfect. They said they're going to go take a lunch break, make a final call at 1 o'clock. But if it's wet, it's rainy, gonna wait, because it's not fair to run on wet obstacles. That's a huge disadvantage. So they do a good job of making sure stuff's dry and ready to go. Like I said, we were so lost and had so many questions that first time. I hope this kind of helps you just like answer some of those questions that you have, and if you have more, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer every single question you leave, because I just wanted to make sure that this is going to be a good experience for you guys. If you're going to make the trip out to watch American Ninja Warrior, like, that's amazing and awesome, and you're going to appreciate the ninja community and the production behind it. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching and sticking through this whole thing. It was a long one, but worth it, I think. We'll talk to you in the next one. See ya!